In a few days, Blues coach Ken Hitchcock and Bruins coach Claude Julien will join forces in Sochi, Russia for Team Canada. Tonight, though, they will go head-to-head in a battle of East versus West in what could be a preview of the Stanley Cup Final. Who will gain the bragging rights tonight and the 2 points? Find out next. There's Aeneas Williams, a future Hall of Famer. He'll drop the first puck tonight at Scottrade and gets a rousing welcome from the sellout crowd. And congratulations to the former Ram. And he'll drop the puck between Bergeron and Backes.
Good form. It's a high drop.
What a player he was, and congratulations to Aeneas Williams.
Looks like he can still play.
He's fired up.
No kidding.
And a job well done by Aeneas Williams. All right, tonight's top starting goaltenders, Jaroslav Halak. On the year is 12-4-3 at home at 2.36 goals against average in the Finn. Tuukka Rask is 3-1-1 in his last 5 games, and he will represent his country like Halak will at the upcoming Olympians. And there is Claude Julien, and he will be one of Canada's assistant coaches, working hand in hand with Blues coach Ken Hitchcock. They will see a lot of each other in the next couple of weeks in Sochi.
Well, one thing we found out today in our big scoop was that they won't be rooming together in those small beds they're going to have in Sochi in the village. So looks like Ken Hitchcock will get Lindy Ruff, and Mike Babcock will get Claude Julien as roommates.
So it's Halak and the Blues against Rask and the Bruins. Blues won earlier 3-2 in a shootout. Blues hockey brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. As the Bruins work in, Marchand trying to cut to the middle. And a pass and a penalty called is against the Blues as the Bruins skate in. And a holding minor has been detected as Marchand had a decent chance on left wing.
Well, Bergeron's very, very strong, and he just drilled Patrick Berglund.
2 minutes for holding.
And this hit in the neutral zone was a big one. Big collision. Bang. And it actually, Bergeron got hit, and then as he got hit, he knocks down Berglund. Bernie, I thought that Bergeron initiated that hit. He took it from Oshie to begin with.
Yes, he did. Big hit, too, but what a move by Marchand there. Wow.
And the Bruins in the power play, they are ranked 6th at 20.8%. Riley Smith keeps it in. Now Bergeron back for Smith. And then for Dougie Hamilton. Smith a pass down low. In the area of Louis Eriksson, the former star, now picked up by Pietrangelo. And he shoots it high and down the ice. Blues on the kill this year, 84.9%. That's 5th.
Now the Blues will not have to defend against Chara in front of the net on the power play. Good save there by Jaroslav Halak on the outside. No chance really for a goal on the outside like that. I'm surprised Bergeron actually fired it there. Makes for an easy save and an opportunity for Halak to get into the game.
Yeah, when Chara's in the lineup, he goes to the net. He's like a big tree in front of Jaro Halak.
He's worked hard at it too. I mean, it's not a natural position for him, but they've implemented him in front of the net, and that's just one big, huge redwood tree. He took that responsibility serious and was doing a great job with it.
Both clubs were 0 for 1 on the power play in the first meeting, won by the Blues. Now it comes back to the rookie Crew. And his drive blocked by Pollock. And now it's worked ahead by Oshie, but not out. And now Pollock again. He took a puck in the face this morning in practice and went off for repairs. And then Berglund whips it high. And this goes all the way down the ice.
Yeah, a lot of repairs on the blue line. Alex Pietrangelo took that broken stick in his ear, and he got cut for 6 or 7 stitches and some little bit of cartilage repair as well.
And now Milan Lucic feathers one in front, and that's taken care of by Bouwmeester. It comes to center, and a delayed offside. And 40 seconds left in the Shattenkirk minor, and that is golfed down the ice by Bouwmeester. And Krug, the rookie, back to get it. Has 12 goals to lead all rookie defensemen. The club record is 17 goals, not by by Bobby Orr, but by Raymond Bourque. Most goals by Bruin rookie defenseman, but whenever you get within 1 of Orr and 5 of the great Ray Bourque, you know you're doing pretty good.
I would say so. I like Torrey Krug. I like the way he plays. I like the way he handles himself. And here's a play here. You know, it's a situation where Backes just wants to get this on net. He doesn't want to go in all the way the other way because he knows he's got Steen driving hard, hoping for maybe a big rebound off the blocker of Rask. Keep in mind, Tuukka Rask got a great glove hand. He's got terrific hands, typical of the Finnish goaltenders. They catch a lot of pucks.
And now Marchand comes in again for the Bruins. Steered around by Bergeron. And then for Hamilton, long wrist shot blocked by Jackman. And it goes to Riley Smith. Smith for Bartkowski. And he fakes it. Now Bartkowski inches in, out high. Hamilton, Blues are back at full strength. One shot on goal in the power play. And then Bartkowski again. That's tipped by Steen, and then Pollock runs his man down. That was Bergeron. And the puck slides to center ice for Backes. And now back for Steen.
That was a scary moment this morning when Roman Pollock took that puck off his own stick right up over his eye for about 8 to 10 stitches over that right eye. But he's right in the game already.
Yes, he is. Not dressed tonight. Carlo Poliakovo. And Ian Cole along with Tarasenko, who has the flu and was banged up in the last game. In addition to Chara, the Bruins are without Dennis Seidenberg, one of their top defensemen, out for the year, following major knee surgery. And now Carl Soderberg was slowed up, the former Blues prospect. And it comes back to the line and then dumped in by David Warsofsky, who was traded for Vladdy Sobotka a few years ago. And now it is Soderberg again, in front for Eriksson, and that went right by his blade in the goal crease area. Kept in Warsofsky a drive, on goal, and a save by Halak. And then they jam away at the rebound, much to the chagrin of Jaro Halak and Leopold.
Yep, good shot there by Warsofsky from that left point, but we'll focus in on the Czech Republic-born Roman Pollock. And big number 46 on the penalty kill. Oh, got my shin pad on that one. Make sure he blocks that, and then he comes in here. Tries to push the puck away first and then take the body. Eliminate the man from the puck, and that's what he did there with Bergeron. A tough player to knock off the puck.
And now Gregory Campbell wins the faceoff for big Sean Thornton. The Blues intercepted now to center ice Yashkin, whose dad is in town watching his son play the first time in the NHL. And then Yashkin trying to hold it in. Gets some support there from Roy. And then it's picked up by the rookie Krug. And that's tipped away by Paille. And back to the Blues line. And now Roy, who had the shootout winner in Boston. Tipped by Yashkin. He goes after it. And Yashkin in on Krug, and he gets it on the cycle now for Schwartz. Little head fake move. Into the line, but that's picked off by Thornton. And away come the Bruins. And then for Paille to the net. And that's kicked away by Halak. And then back of the goal, Thornton was upended there by Bouwmeester. Bartkowski pinches in. And now back of the goal again. And then Thornton tied up at knots by Bouwmeester. And then picked up by Roy, and that comes to center ice.
Boy, Yashkin getting involved early on. A couple of really good hits, one in the offensive zone and then one in the defensive zone, and he goes off for a line. So that's a good way to start off. Lets everybody know you're in the game, even though he and Schwartz kind of had a little miscommunication on the cycle in the offensive zone.
And now the Bruins have their top line. It is Iginla, Lucic, and Krejci out there. And then back of the goal, look out, Backes almost ran into his own man, Bouwmeester, but it comes to center ice for Stewart. There's Stewart, Steen, and Backes for the Blues. Hamilton kicks it away from Steen. And then now it's reverse for Bartkowski. And he does another reverse. Shots are 3-1 for the Bruins. No score. And a pass almost picked off by Berglund. Slammed ahead by Bartkowski. Now for Lucic. And Berglund got back with a good stick to break it up. And then Berglund, after a loose puck on the right wing side for Oshie. And there's Krug to hold it in for Boston. Oshie trying to work it off the wall. And now it goes to Leopold. Nice little short pass for Oshie. Off the glass and out. And that's kicked along by Berglund. First man back is Johnny Boychuk. And he takes a hit from Payarvi. Now Berglund centers it. in the slot area. That's knocked away at the last second by Krug, and here comes Marchand in for Boston. He winds up in a drive on goal, and a save there by Halak, and then Krug battles in front with Payarvi.
Well, it gives us an opportunity as Yaroslav Halak stopped that shot by Brad Marchand on the rush for our Toyota keys to the game. And as we showed you in the pregame show, the third man has to be a lot more responsible on both ends of the ice as far as the forwards of the Blues are concerned, and let big Milan Lucic sleep. Don't wake up that big bear. When you do, you never know what you're going to get from him. He's as big and powerful as you're going to find in the NHL. Marchand likes to go down the right side as a left-hand shot and go across the green to the stick side, and Yaroslav Halak gave him absolutely nothing right there.
He has not scored in 4 games at Marchand with 7 goals in his last 10. And you got to watch him when you're on a power play. He leads the league with 4 shorthanded goals. And now Jackman for the Blues.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They got 7 total shorthanded goals for.
And now Lapierre. So of course, his Canucks lost to these Bruins back in 2011. Lapierre says every night when he goes to sleep, he thinks about that loss, that Game 7 loss. Every night, 3 years later.
That'd be a grumpy human being every night, wouldn't it? I say that with all due respect.
Yeah. But when he told me that today, I thought, well, you'd think time would heal the wounds, but not in this case. And a shot by Kelly just wide.
Nice pass by Soderberg there.
And Chris Kelly rattled it wide. And now Kelly's stick held a bit by Morrow, got away with it. And then thrown high by Morrow and off a shin pad to center ice. And then thrown back in the blue zone. And both clubs make changes here. And Jackman wheels to center ice for Pietrangelo. And that's a little chip in. And Rask back to play it. And this comes around for Paille. Bruins have won 6 of their last 7 games. The Blues are 4-1-1 in their last 6. Now Pietrangelo under some pressure from Campbell. And then Roy jabs the back of the goal. Now around for Schwartz. And he sidesteps Paille. And then Paille comes back on Schwartz. And then Yashkin has it for the Blues. On to center ice for Roy. Trying to squeeze by Boychuk, but he's a big, strong man. And the Bruins have possession. And that pass for Paille goes all the way down, and icing called against Boston.
They just got their 4th line out on the ice. Pretty darn good 4th line, too. Maybe one of the best in the National Hockey League. They get a lot of responsibility there with Dan Paille that you see right there. Gregory Campbell as well at center ice, and then Sean Thornton on the right as you take a look at the tail of the tape. Goals allowed. The Bruins 2.13, their second best. The Blues 2.31, that's third best.
So a lot of similar numbers. And a drive by Paille rather, turned away by Halak. And now Polak for Backes.
Especially at even strength. That's why you expect these games to be 1-1, 2-2. If it's not going to be a trip to the penalty box at even strength, this is going to be a grind.
Now a pass across for Backes. His shot on goal. And a save by Rask. Now back for Polak. He's got a heavy shot, lets it go, and that was wide by about a foot. Held in by Leopold. And then for Stewart, funneled back of the goal for Steen. Steen in front. Pinballs around, and then taken by Lucic. And out of the zone, and now on for Iginla. And he cuts in to the middle, and the play is offside.
What a break that is.
As they had a 3-on-2 led by Iginla. No score here in the first period.
Well, we would like to congratulate Jack Thomas of Glencoe, Missouri, tonight's BMO Harris Bank Kid Captain, as he joins the Blues just prior to the national anthem. What a great moment for our Kid Captain for tonight's game. And this is the way, or the only way, you're going to get some opportunities against Tuukka Rask. Look at that traffic in front there. He is so good at getting out on top of his crease, goes down to a good solid butterfly. And that one was just missed on the redirection. But, Bernie, it's going to be essential to get those bodies in front.
Yeah, you know what? It's such a structured game right now. I mean, you can see they're so methodical the way the Bruins play. So this is going to be a man's game. It's going to be tight checky all night long.
And the Blues win the faceoff. Here's Backes now in for Stewart. And he cuts wide. A shot and a blocker saved by Rask.
Might have nibbled off the knob of the stick right there, too.
And now Stewart gets it low for Steen. Spins away from his man. Penalty coming up here. It's on either Steen or Bartkowski.
It's going to be on Steen. It's not. It's going to be on Bartkowski.
Well, Now, I thought the first hold by Bartkowski was the one that was called, and then Steen almost got called as well.
Boston penalty 43, 2 minutes for holding the stick.
Raymond making the call right there. And he's calling that holding the stick right there. It just slid right between the arm and the body of Matt Bartkowski. Holding the stick, minor penalty. And the other part that you've got to be aware of in this game is the goalie interference against Rask, because Francois Sador, one of the referees, he has been involved in 12 goalie interference calls this year. So to get in front, that's fine, but don't get too aggressive in there or you're going to get called.
You got to protect the goaltender.
In the Olympics, once you skate through the blue paint, play goes dead. That's
Whistle,
it.
yep. So the Blues' first power play, they were 0 for 7 the other night. And had a total of 14 shots on those 7 power plays. And here's the former BU star, Kevin Shattenkirk. Gets it back from Schwartz, now on to Steen. And that's dumped in. Wojciech almost stumbled back of the goal. And now for the rookie, Kevin Miller. And he fires it out.
You know, something we didn't talk about, Panger, when we were talking about the Olympics and all, it's going to be the face-offs are going to be so important on that big ice surface, especially on the power play.
Yes.
And we see it right here. You know, Bergeron is so good on the power play, and I think that that's going to be one of the keys to all the teams is having puck control so that you don't have to do any chasing on that big ice surface.
And one of the reasons why Team Canada chose Patrice Bergeron, because he is just one of the best. Had a right-hand shot at 60%. So he actually won this, but it went back to Berglund. I mean, it snuck on Berglund's stick for a split second, Bernie, and he wasn't able to keep it going north. It got knocked off his twig and down the other way.
Yeah.
And now the Blues operating on the power play. Here comes Steen. 45 gone in the minor. In for Roy. And he's chased wide to Oshie, wide open in front, and he just lost the handle as he went to the backhand. What a pass by Roy. And now Shattenkirk winds up. That shot didn't miss by much. And Steen at the line held it in for a moment, but Kelly tips it away.
It's a heck of a keep-in to begin it.
And now Roy again in for Oshie. Coming off his two-point effort. Oshie for Shattenkirk. Worked along to Bouwmeester, now to Roy. Thought about shooting. Bouwmeester and a slap pass, I believe. That goes down low. Wojciech trying to clear it, held in by Bouwmeester for Shattenkirk. And he walks the line. Bouwmeester gets it. And a drive. That's right into the shin pad of Campbell. And he drills it off the boards and down the ice.
It actually went off the shin pad and hit Campbell in the right forearm, and I'm surprised that he's not hurting because that one hurt. Looked like it hurt.
This is the guy that blocked the shot last year in the playoffs and couldn't play in the Stanley Cup Finals because of a fracture in his leg.
Now the son of longtime NHL executive and coach and player Colin Campbell. Here's Gregory Campbell as Pietrangelo cannot hold it in. And time is running down on this power play. And that's it. Bartkowski is at the Blues. No shots on Rask. And now in front, Berglund. And he shot and missed it. And now it's Pietrangelo in this scoreless game. Under 9 to play, first period. Bruins off the boards. Good keep in by Pietrangelo. In the slot, here's Schwartz. And a snapshot that was blocked out high. And then in the corner again for Reeves. He can't get the puck out, or in the slot area. Bruins get it out, and Marchand tips it down the ice. Pollock, and the first man back for the Blues. Roman Pollock onto Lapierre. And now Leopold wanders in. That drive and a save by Rask as he was well out of the blue paint and makes the pad save. No score here in the first.
Well, the power play against the Ottawa Senators went 0 for 7 for Ken Hitchcock's squad. They had 14 shots, but really 9 scoring chances, and 6 of them came on a 5-on-3. Just a heck of a pass there by Derek Roy. And Oshie tries to play it forehand, backhand. It just rolls off his blade right there as he got whacked on the hands. And in front of the net, Dougie Hamilton, the fine young defenseman, goes a little battle there. And then Backus tries to get going there. Good shot block there by Matt Bartkowski as well. Both power plays 0 for 1 so far. And a lot of conversation between the Blues' Alexander Steen and the linesman in this game. So
Yeah, the linesman kind of got in his way as he tried to keep the puck in along the boards, and really the linesman tried to explain that he had nowhere to go. So it's heat of the action. It's very difficult, guys. You know that.
And a shot by Pietrangelo wide. Now Backes for Bouwmeester. And Stewart spins away from Krejci. Stewart trying to make a play back for Pietrangelo. And then Bouwmeester again. It's on goal. And a save by Rask and no rebound.
Yeah, that one's an easy one there for Tuukka Rask. No question about that. Right in the old bread basket right there. You take that any day of the week. Long shot like that. You're trying to get pucks funneled off if you can. Any time on the pads, but that one gets away from Bouwmeester, and it's up high and right on the Bruins' crest for Tuukka Rask that will lead Finland.
He is a former first-rounder by the Leafs. Acquired in a deal for Andrew Raycroft.
That has worked out extremely well for the Boston Bruins.
I'd say.
Raycroft, though, won 37 games his first year in Toronto. It was a Maple Leafs record.
And now Rask, a career-high 25 wins this year. Here's Morrow back for Shattenkirk. That failed to get through the traffic. Leaves now for Jackman. He winds up, hit his own man, and then a backhander by Reeves. And a nifty play that went wide. Bruins try to clear it, and they do. And then Reeves settles it and guns it back in. And it comes to the rookie Kevin Miller. He can't move it. Now Morrow for LaPierre. And a skate away for Miller to the line. And then Louis Eriksson tips it. And this comes down the ice, and it's snared by Shattenkirk. And he's chased back to the goal. And then Eriksson gets it for Soderberg. A quick shot. He had a goal against the Blues back in Boston. But this time Halak has the answer.
Yeah, a couple of Swedes with some good passing right there. And Louis Eriksson, the former Dallas Star, some quick hands. And just like what we've seen against Tuukka Rask, this one right in the belly, right in the blue note of the goaltender Jaroslav Halak. Back-to-back games for Halak. As he, in his last 6, is 4-1-1. And has stopped 92% of the shots that have come his way.
And has won his last 3 against Boston. He was great in that win in Boston.
He sure
back
was.
in late November.
And he was the first to admit that he wasn't great in the last game against Ottawa. And felt awful about his performance.
And now Smith comes in for the Bruins. What a move there. Cuts in front. And that went just off his stick at the last second. How
That's
about
a
that
sweet
move?
one. That's a sweet one, boys. Wow.
And a shot from the line. And that's out of play. Smith came in the Eriksson trade from Dallas, rather. As Sagan went the other way, and they like this young kid, and here's why.
Yeah, this is a little thanks for coming right there. I mean, fakes like he's going to the outside, toe drags it into the inside. Roman Polak got outside the dots here. A little overcommitment, but he's able to swing back, at least get his stick on the shaft of the stick there of Riley Smith with his 18 goals, plus 12 at even strength, and he's playing on a pretty darn good line right now when you think about it. Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, and Riley Smith.
He really froze him. That was a great. I thought for sure he was going to shoot that. You make that kind of fake, you're going to beat a lot of defensemen in this league.
And of course, his brother plays for the Red Wings. Now Campbell a shot, and a pad save by Halak. Campbell again trying to jam it in. Halak got over and got the sticks in the area and made the save.
I was talking to Yarrow yesterday about the goal from Kyle Turris that had a bank off of Jaden Schwartz's skate. And here from our Plaza Tire Service replay, watch the stick position here of Halak. He's got it there, goes off the heel, and then comes out. He didn't like that goal against Ottawa because his stick just wasn't in a good position.
And off the face-off, a penalty called here. It's against the Blues for slashing.
St. Louis 19, 2 minutes for slashing.
When everybody on the ice stops and looks around, they're not sure what happened. You know that it's, I don't know if you know it's a good call or not.
Yeah.
But no one, I mean, everybody's looking and say, what happened?
Let's keep our eye on the right side right here. They're going to call that a slashing.
That's terrible.
That's a terrible call.
Yeah, that's a terrible call.
It is.
Hang on to your stick.
That's called battling for position on the board.
And a drive from the line. That's blocked by Steve. And now Krug for Krejci. Krug settles it. Quick drive, blocked by Jackman. And then David Backes, twisting and turning, now backhands it high and out of the blue zone. And then Krejci comes right back in. And then back for Krug. Bruins set it up. Krug gets it again. Krejci on the half boards. On their second power play. Iginla centers it. Tipped by a blue stick. And now recovered by Warsofsky. Former Blues prospect. Again in the trade for Sobotka. Quick shot and a right pad save by Jarl Halak. From Krug and Oshie dangling. Can't get it out. Krejci with it, a shot. Blocked by Pietrangelo. And now Krejci has it. With a minute to go in the power play. And then back on the line, Warsofsky, former teammates of Shattenkirk at BU. And a drive off the stick, I believe, of Halak. As Krejci let it fly. Now Lucic. Krejci back on the line, Warsofsky into Krug. And then to Warsofsky. And he fanned on a shot. And then hammered down the ice by Berglund.
Looks like a stick might have broke, but I guess not. Just got it whiffed on it. Came over top of it. Good break for the Blues.
And now Lapierre hounding the puck. Lapierre steals it as Schwartz down low, but he can't get it by Bergeron. And now 25 to go in Bouwmeester's minor.
Is that Lapierre's stick that came up on Louis Eriksson?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And now Riley Smith again. Funnels one to the end board. Jackman, two Bruins around him, around for Steen. And Steen chips it on to Schwartz. 2-on-2. Schwartz to the middle. And a drive and a good save there with the blocker by Tuukka Rask. Bruins come back to center. Blues are back at full strength. Boston had 2 shots on that power play. Now 0 for 2. As Bouwmeester has returned. Fed to center ice now for Schwartz. 4-on-3 here for Steen. Winds up. He scores! A rocket!
A 3-on-2 with no real advantage driving hard to the net and no weak side opportunity. And Alexander Steen just lets it rip. Do what you do best. Shooters shoot. Dancers dance. This is a rocket to the far side. Our Plaza Tire Service replay, about 18 inches above the far pad. And that is the place to beat Tuukka Rask there. That's an outstanding shot by Alexander Steen.
And Julian is upset with something. I'm not sure if he thought the play was offside or exactly what, but...
Oh, I think they were sour about that high stick maybe on that wasn't called. Max Lapierre's high stick on Louis Eriksson.
Yeah, that would be a good guess, Pat, Darren, but it clearly wasn't on the play, and this goal will stand. Steen will get it, his 28th of the year.
Well, 25 of the goals against that have gone against Tuukka Rask this year have gone to the stick side. He's so good with his gloves. Let's keep our eye on this here. Yeah, there's nothing there in terms of a foul on that play.
Right, the goalie wasn't interfered with. It was onside.
No, it's all about the high stick in the... There's the high stick right there by Max Lapierre, right on Louis Eriksson.
But that certainly, as we know, is not something you can go back on and back to and make a call. Either you see it and call it or you don't.
Well, I want to make sure that's exactly what they're
right. That's just the
arguing about.
I don't know. I'm just kind of watching Julian right now, and he keeps pointing at the line, but it certainly didn't look like it was offside. Now, the only thing is what you guys just talked about was that high stick, but I don't know. All the linesmen are involved. The 2 referees have spoken to each other, too, so I'll try to find out at the end of the period what was really going on, but I'm kind of befuddled right now.
So it is a goal.
It is a great goal, too. A great shot. What more can you say?
Schwartz and Bouwmeester get the assists. And the Blues draw first blood. Now Bartkowski to the corner.
Another peek at it again, and I'm sure folks at home that are able to rewind it and slow it down. I mean, it's clearly not offside. That's not the issue whatsoever on that play. It's that high stick.
Bergeron. He fumbles it, and now Berglund the other way. And that is thrown to the end board. Pajärvi didn't get the puck. And then Bergeron whips it onto center ice. Stewart drops it back for Pietrangelo. And then Leopold for Pietrangelo. With some speed here, he dumps it in. And Bartkowski turns for the Bruins. Up for Milan Lucic, the Vancouver native. And he is double teamed there by Stewart and Steen, and the Blues after it in the corner again. In a slot to Backes. Quick shot on goal. And a save by Rask. And a pretty good chance there for Backes.
Yeah, good release there by Backes. Trying to get the goaltender a little off guard right there. Fired between the legs.
And now it's Iginla down the wall. And he turns to make a play. In the area of Krejci. And the youngster from the Czech Republic, Krejci. Oh, now in the corner, back as a hit on Iginla. And the Blues have it, and here's Bouwmeester, long feed to center ice for Backes. He plays it back for Bouwmeester with 2.5 to play here in the first period. As Morrow gets a deep point shot, trying to move it. And a quick pass to Campbell, and a hard pass back to his own zone. And Payet couldn't get it. And now Krug will slow it down for the Bruins. Up for Payet. And that comes across. Jackson had to bounce on him, but now Lapierre was rattled on a good hit there by Campbell, but the Blues are away, and here comes Reeves. They'll throw it by Warsofsky. Walk around the boards, Lapierre there. Gets some support from Reeves. Now back to Jackman. And a wrist shot, tipped maybe by Morrow or off Miller, I'm not sure, and it goes out of play.
Fans enjoying great happy hour.
And we get a break with 1:56 to go in the opening period. Another laser, another goal by Steen.
Well, it's tough enough for these referees to find where that stick came from. Did a player lift up the stick? Was it in his arms? And if we're going to stop it right here and show you this part right here. See where that stick is? It's underneath from Riley, and then it lifts up the stick of Max Lapierre. Now, Max Lapierre still has the responsibility of where that stick is. He's got one hand on his stick, and, you know, more times than not, Bernie, that just gets called as a high sticking call.
I totally agree.
I just think in that scrum, I don't think the referees saw it either way. I don't think they called it a non-high stick because of the stick being lifted up.
Yeah.
I just think that they just missed a high sticking call.
Well, that's right, but they missed it, and somebody didn't see it. I mean, and I don't know how they didn't see it, but they all, you know, came together at center ice after it was all said and done, but it's too late for that now. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah, no one saw Oshie's puck going underneath the net the other night either, except for Sherlock Holmes, TJ Oshie.
Well, including us, but the fact of the matter is that we did see this one on the side boards.
Although Oshie did say that Tarasenko saw it for the bench, but he's the only other guy. As Schwartz works it back behind the goal. Now for Jackman. Long shot tipped wide by Payarvi. He goes down. He gets up, trying to play it in front. And that's knocked away by Miller. Blues get it again. Jackman for Roy. A drive, and that nibbled off the crossbar, I believe.
I think it did too. Great setup with a third man high in the offensive zone. Instead of that third man high diving into the action, and that's what we saw in the first goal the other night. It was Chris Stewart that kind of dove in while they were 3 down low then. Your third man high's got to be in that quiet area. He's also got to defend in case it gets turned over. You can't have 3 along the goal line, and this is almost a perfect shot. It's as close as you can get. High to the blocker side, and it goes off the bar and out of play. Great shot. Derek Roy's had a good start to this game.
Roy has points in 3 straight, but no goals in his last 23. As Kelly gets the puck up the boards, kept in by Oshie. And now Bartkowski plays it, in front of his own goal. And he was lucky that Payarvi didn't notice the puck was loose. And this goes all the way down, in on goal, and swept away by Halak. And now Polak defers for Leopold.
1 minute to play in the first
With a
period.
minute to go in the first period. Shots 9-8 for Boston, but the Blues lead 1-0. And now Bartkowski to the veteran Jerome Iginla. At 36 is still going strong with 16 goals this year. Now in front. Off the pad of Halak. Bartkowski after it. Now for Soderberg. Turns and fires it. And that was knocked down in front. And it's, I think, in the paraphernalia of Leopold, and we get a whistle.
Leopold had a good game the other night for sure as he gets that puck out of his pants. But let's go back to the game against the Ottawa Senators. And this is what the Blues players were talking about, and they had video of it yesterday. I'll give you an example here. Tuesday night. the three guys down. Stop it here if we can. See, Chris Stewart gets a little hungry and he wants to get in there. This is the area that he's got to be in up high as the third man high. But the terminology they use is he dove in on that play. And because of that, it went the other way, and Ottawa's Carlson ended up scoring on an odd man rush. But you see that last play by Derek Roy, huh, fellas? He stays up there, and not only is he a good defensive spot, but then he gets a great shot.
That's why you always want to have a third man high. And a shot off the back of the goal by Stewart comes in front. Now, pump back of the goal by Pietrangelo. And recovered by Boychuk. Trying to move it away. He does. Boychuk, the new dad, has twin girls that are about a month old. And that is on goal at the buzzer. So the Blues get the only goal at 15:48 from Alexander Steen. His 28th of the year. That's the end of one. Let's go to the studio and Pat Paris. After one, the Blues lead the Boston Bruins 1-0 on a goal by Alexander Steen. John and Darren back in the broadcast booth, and the Blues have been getting great leadership from the captain, David Backes. He had 7 shots the other night against Ottawa, has scored goals in 3 straight, and another good first period tonight, Darren. Yeah, he's got a rolling, doesn't he? He had a great start to the season. I mean, you talk about a guy that was prepared for the beginning of the season, changed his training a little bit, got handling pucks a lot more, less of the bulky weights early on, and he's just as strong as an ox anyway. But he's moving around the ice, making plays. He had the best scoring chance, other than Steen scoring the goal. I mean, David Backes there on the PK nearly lost it, but with that long reach, he's able to stay with it before Milan Lucic could get a hold of it. That's while the Blues were on the penalty kill. It was an important play because they turned the puck over just before that. David Backes was going to have none of that, and he got it all the way down the length of the ice. Blues hockey is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Teams are at full strength to begin the second period. For the Blues, it is Oshie, Payarby, and Berglund. Oshie trying to work in on left wing. That was knocked away by Hamilton. And now Bergeron at center ice. He'll flip one to the corner. Riley Smith is after it. And now Marchand gets it for the Bruins. Marchand to the line. Long shot. That's punched away, I believe, by Berglund. And now Shattenkirk on his horse to center ice. And a squeeze down the boards on Bartkowski. And then stolen by Payarby. Wraparound trying to save by Rask. And a tricky play by Payarby, who almost did the same thing in the first period. Good read by Payarby. He's real good sniffing around loose pucks around the net. And yeah, he likes to go to the jam. He's not afraid to put his nose down and go right to the blue paint. A lot of players shy away from that because they don't want to get hit. He just goes right to it. Now it's a Ginla from a tough angle. A shot pad save by Halak. And then a drive. And another save. That one was on Krug as he walked into one. And a good pad save again. And now at the line. Krug shot blocked. And here come the Blues back to center ice. Stewart and Steen. And Stewart waits and then was pushed down from behind. But then he picked the pocket of Lucic. And now for Steen back of the cage. In front, a quick shot by Backes, and that was wide. Good hold in there by Bouwmeester. And then Backes looks in front. Everybody's covered. And Boychuk gets it out for Boston. Too big Lucic in for a Ginla. And then to the net, and a good save by Halak on Lucic on that goal mouth feed. What a pass by Jerome Ginla. In their last game, they scored a lot on that 3-on-2 rush. And a center lane drive and going to the weak side. Here, Ginla goes right to the man that gave him the puck, Milan Lucic. And Lucic here, stick on the ice, gets it right on the blade, and what a great save there by Jaroslav Halak. A terrific save with the right pad and blocker right there. When Jaro's moving east-west, pushing from post to post with authority and quickness and imbalance, you know that that's when Jaro is on his game. He's been good down low early in this game. Hasn't been heavily tested, but he's been sharp. And the Blues win the face-off and clear it down the ice as we get an icing call. Every Tuesday game at Scott Trade this season is Ticketmaster T-Shirt Tuesday. Get 2 tickets and 2 Blues T-shirts starting at just $63. Visit stlouisblues.com/tickets for details. Faceoffs were dead even in the first period. Bruins control this one. Chip back of the goal, Leopold. Up the wing now for Morrow, and then worked away by Lapierre. And it's handled by the Bruins and David Warsofsky. And then for the rookie Miller. And he gets it in deep. Jaromir Halak goes for a skate back of the goal. And now for Polak. Trying to work it away. Pops in front and now shot away by the Blues. And again it goes all the way down. And another icing call. Bruins had only one shot in the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds of the first, but have had 3 shots already in this period.
And the explanation that we got on that high stick is that Donnie Henderson, the linesman, did see the stick coming up and getting Louis Eriksson, but the linesman can only call a double minor in that situation, or major, and he didn't see any kind of blood at all because Louis Eriksson got up and went right to the locker room. And because of that, he doesn't have a call to make. The referees didn't see it, and only Henderson did see it.
And now it's Lapierre in for the Blues. And as our replay showed, his stick was actually lifted by the stick of a Bruin player, but you must be in control of your stick at all times. And that is what we would assume is why Julien was so upset after the goal. And now Leopold for the Blues.
That would have been a 5-on-3, a little short 5-on-3, John, on that too, because it was during the power play.
And now it is Yashkin to the corner. Dmitry Yashkin has 1 goal this year. That came against Chicago on December 28th. And rolled around for Chris Kelly. Up in the air, swatted at by Bouwmeester. And then Schwartz steers it back of the goal for Pietrangelo. And then Yashkin. Now for Schwartz. Rolling back up a bit. Here comes Schwartz. He works in. He scores! What a shot again!
That is a wicked wrister. Holy jumping, that little snapshot right there under the bar and in. Oh, man, what a shot. Looked like he was waiting around and seeing if there was something else going to develop. Keep your eye on Schwartz here. He's waiting. No, waiting. Oh, he waits for the player, Alex Pietrangelo, to slide in front. Pietrangelo creates this screen. It goes through the legs of the Bruins player, under the bar and in the net. Oh, that had eyes. Wow.
His second goal in 3 games, 18th of the year. And the Blues take a 2-0 lead. The goal at 3:32. As the Bruins just kept backing in, and Schwartz made them pay. Now down low, backhander on goal by Marchand, and a save by Halak. And Marchand had a good chance. And they try to get it back to him again, but Oshie knocked it away. And Oshie to center ice now for Payarvi. Working on Crew. And a backhander is into the midsection of Rask. And we get a whistle.
Well, Dmitry Yashkin will get an assist on that goal, and so will the defenseman, Alex Pietrangelo. And one of the main keys here is when Pietrangelo is, as we see the play develop, stop it here. Center lane drive is right here, and that is Pietrangelo. Even as a defenseman, it creates a diversion. Kevin Miller's the defenseman. It goes through his legs, and it goes beyond Pietrangelo, who now has crossed the vision of the goalie. He screened the goalie, and Schwartz waited just long enough for that to be able to not hit anybody and go top shelf.
Yeah, Rask was pretty deep in the net, too. He wasn't really out to the front of the paint.
And that's not like him. He is a goalie that plays right on top of the blue paint.
And here come the Blues. Steen up the ice with Stewart, and they got crossed up, and that's an offside. The goal by Schwartz is 18th from Yashkin and Pietrangelo. Darren, I mentioned that Yashkin has his dad here. I asked him yesterday if his dad has ever come to St. Louis to see him play. He said no, but he said he has been to St. Louis. He actually came to St. Louis years ago with a touring Soviet team, and Yashkin's dad played against the Blues in an exhibition game at the old arena.
No kidding. That is great stuff.
And he didn't know the year or the date, but he said it was around the 90-92 era. So he was at the old arena, and that was after, I think, Mr. Federico had retired. As Stewart comes in, the line's been knocked down there, right in front of the Blues bench. And then Pietrangelo will pass across, picked off by Iginla. And now Krejci comes in. And a long wrist shot is gloved by Halak, and no further play.
And these linesmen take a beating, don't they? So far, We've had Alexander Steen really having a heated conversation with Darren Gibbs, the other linesman, to begin it. But at the right there on the left side of your screen, and the puck's there, and Don Henderson ends up going down right here. You can see his skate, left skate got caught right on the puck.
Yeah, he stepped on the puck.
Yeah.
That's a tough deal. He went down like that came out of a cannon, too.
Speaking of officials, congratulations to Tim Peel. Did the game the other night. He's going to be heading to the Olympics, to Sochi. And so good luck to Tim Peel. Makes his residence in this area.
And best of luck in Sochi for Tim and his crew. Always get it back for Miller. His wrist shot. That's off a stick out of play. Boy, what a tough day for the Nashville Predators, Darren, up in Minnesota. Their general manager, David Poile, got hit by a puck at practice, and he's in hospital. And their longtime TV play-by-play voice, Pete Weber, suffered a heart attack, and he's in hospital. So our thoughts are with Pete and David Poile up in Minnesota tonight.
No question. There's no question about that. And, yeah, I'm get better soon, both. Pete Weber's just always been one of the all-time great guys, gracious with his time and notes, and
always has a smile on his face.
Always does. Yeah, he and Tara Chris do a great job there in Nashville, and David Poile, last thing anybody needs anyway, but he might have to miss that big charter going over to Sochi.
Yeah, he's the GM of the U.S. team, as you know, as the Bruins get it in there. Yashkin with it, and he was tripped up, and that's a rather obvious call.
Yep.
And the guilty party is Kelly, and now Pollock comes after Kelly. But Roman should skate away here because the Blues are going to get a power play.
I think he thought that it was worse than what it was.
Yeah.
That Yashkin might have, blown a knee or something like that. It is hard to hit when you're going forward.
For tripping.
And the one thing that I found throughout my career, whether it's as a player or as a broadcaster, nothing good happens when you're trying to hit somebody straight on and get a body on him, because that player's going to move. A shifty player's going to move slightly, and all you're going to end up doing is getting a knee into that player's knee or thigh or trip him.
And I think Roman thought it was a knee-on-knee hit.
Well, I agree with you, Fenger. The whole game is supposed to be played by angles. One of the referees here has got a cut on his finger, so Ray Burley's putting a little bandage on here, guys. That's why there's a little delay, but...
That's Francois Saint-Laurent.
Yes, it is. But I agree with you. I mean, this knee-to-knee hits are so dangerous, and that's something that you could see here as soon as the hit was made. That, Kelly really looked around and said, I know I can't do that.
Blues did not get a shot on their initial power play. Ranked second in the league. Here's Oshie, long drive, tipped by Roy, and now spun around by Backes. For Steen. Steen out high to Shattenkirk, winds up, and a drive, and it's caught by Rask with a couple of Blues, including Backes, right in his kitchen.
Yeah, right there. And the Tuukka Rask is in his past anyway, such a competitive person. He's a guy that kind of can get riled up a little bit, but here he maintains perfect position. See, those pads are flush right down on top of the crease right there. Backes is in a great position also to not cause a goaltender interference call.
And a good hold in there by Shattenkirk. And now Shattenkirk again, this time fans on it. There's Marchand. Again, he has 4 shorthanded goals to lead all players. Blues goals tonight from Steen and Schwartz. And the New York native Shattenkirk. He'll dump it in, go after it. Roy's there as well. And now they slow it down. Roy trying to spin away from Bartkowski. He goes up the middle. Glove down by Backes. Good play to hold it in. And now for Steen. He ducks under the Marchand check. Steen leaves it. Now Roy for Oshie in front. Great pass to Shattenkirk. He moves in. And a pass saved by Rask. Great setup there.
Great save, too. That's a tough one there. A right-hand shot going against the grain like that. That's a great save with his right pad.
And now a pass by Roy. Tipped away. Marchand gets it. And he deals it all the way down the ice with 41 seconds left in the Blues power play. As Bullmeister leads his club to center ice. And the hard around comes in the area of Berglund. Can't knock it down. And then it's picked up by Campbell, who feeds it down the far side. And Bullmeister back. Look out, the Bruins steal it in front. And Campbell was trying to get a shot, but he whipped on it. And then Berglund will throw it back in the goal for Bouwmeester. It's not often you see two forwards that aggressive on the kill in the offensive zone. And that's what the Bruins are doing there. And as you said, Darren, they have 7 shorties on the year, third best.
A great penalty kill. There's no question about that. Even though it's 12th in the NHL, when the game's on the line, and that's why they've won the finals and got to the finals last year before losing to Chicago.
Blues now 0 for 2 at 2 shots on that power play. Here come the Bruins to center ice, and David Krejci, who's led the NHL in playoff scoring 2 of the last 3 years. On for Dougie Hamilton. And then back to Krejci. And he got in too tight. Watched by fellow Czech player Polak. The shot blocked by Lapierre. And now it's flipped ahead by Reeves. Too far for Lapierre. All the way down. Icing called against the Blues.
Well, Kevin Shattenkirk on the left side of the ice is a right-hand shot. He gets this in a very, very good spot on the power play. Oshie's buying time, drawing players towards him. Smart play by Oshie, who's a great playmaker. That's why he leads the Blues in helpers. But Shattenkirk does exactly what he wants to do. Get that puck. Maybe if it's 2 inches higher above the pad, then it's in the net. But ends up being a great save.
And the Bruins win the face-off. Boychuk. Little slap pass to the board, picked up by Jordan Leopold, who had his first goal with the Blues the other night. Rask trying to play this one. Bounces on him. Swatted ahead to Iginla. And played to center, but picked up by Jackman now for Shattenkirk. And then Jackman only lost the puck. And Lucic starts in. Lucic to the front, and Jackman got back to atone for his mistake.
Yeah, after Shattenkirk dove to the 2-pad slide and just got enough of that puck so it doesn't go all the way to the far side.
And now it rolls back in the Blues zone. Shots this period 5-5. Blues have added to their lead. It's now 2-0. Stewart comes in. Backes follows up. Chips one to the boards. Krug trying to work it away. Now Backes again. And then Krug, the rookie, up for Eriksson.
Smaller player, but good hands. Now Krug comes away with the puck there.
Look out here, Soderberg. He goes wide. In on goal. And a backhand pass in front. And that was to a blow, but Soderberg really should have shot that. Oof. He was right in cold turkey.
It's no time for a Savardine-like spinorama right there.
Yeah, if it works, it's on every highlight reel, but tough to pass up a shot like that. Eriksson a drive block. Now Kelly centers it for Soderberg, who was traded to Boston for Henrik Toivonen, the goaltender Toivonen, who played briefly with the Blues. Here comes Oshie the other way. In against Miller. And then Pajärvi back of the goal. He darts in to get it. Now for Pietrangelo, long shot. Tipped wide by Berglund. And now Marchand back of the goal. Berglund swoops in. And now a pass by Marchand almost on the stick of Oshie, but it's tipped away and it goes over the boards. Past the midway point in the second. And the Blues with a 2-0 lead.
9-10 with the 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines. And then again with the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit in 2011. He currently serves with the 3rd Battalion, 23rd Marines in St. Louis as a Communications Data Chief. Thank you, Sergeant Christopher Scheibel, for protecting and serving our country.
And we all applaud Christopher Scheibel, our USO Service Member of the Game.
Looks like a very humble young man, doesn't he? Man. Great response again. Just love it. Love the way the other team get their sticks going. Everybody gets their sticks going and appreciate them.
Oh, Oshie, a big hit in the corner on Dougie Hamilton. Here come the Bruins. And then Marchand, he goes wide. And then Bergeron to the line to Hamilton. That shot off a leg to the corner. And Marchand again to the slot. Bergeron, one-timer. Hit something, went wide. And then another drive blocked by Oshie.
Yikes, that's got to hurt right there.
And the Blues clear it down the ice. Oh, man, Oshie took a lot of that Bartkowski shot. And Smith back in to the front of the goal. And Bouwmeester broke it up before Marchand can get it. And now to the front for Thornton. And he can't get a shot. Punched off the glass by Leopold in a foot race. Schwartz will win that one. And he pulls up. On the cycle now for Roy. And he circles the wagons. Roy, a shot. And a glove save by Rask. And we got a stoppage. On the other side of the break, we'll talk to Ken Hitchcock.
Guys have had a couple of goal leads in the last 2 games. What do you have to do better tonight with this 2-goal lead right now?
It's not the lead, Bernie. It's the way we're playing. We need to play better. We got a 2-goal lead, but we've scored on our chances, and they've missed some goldens. We got to play better. We're not playing well enough without the puck to maintain any lead. It doesn't matter. If we can get better throughout the game, we're going to be better off. But if we defend better, we're stronger on pucks, good things are going to happen.
Thanks, Hitch.
And Hitch likes to use a phrase, above and deflect, not below and chase. See if the Blues can learn that valuable lesson of closing the team off.
The Bruins have not come back from a 2-goal deficit all year. And that bounces. Oh, look out! And a whistle, and that was a premature whistle and a big break for the Blues. Halak made the save, and he might be stunned as a Bruin player slid into him at the whistle. Was that a weird sequence?
Now this belonged in the Ottawa game with all the fluttering moments in that game with sticks going into ears and sticks getting caught in the corner and pucks getting stuck in the net. Thornton just flips this, and it's got a little spin to it, and it's a missed call by the referee, prematurely blowing that dead. I don't know how he thought that Yarrow had that. It's so far away from him. Campbell goes into Yarrow as Yarrow is still looking for the puck, and dangerous play, but obviously a hot potato that Yarrow couldn't handle in the first place.
And Oshie is in the Blues locker room after blocking that shot. Boychuk a drive, tipped. And that goes off the glass. And now recovered by the Bruins and David Krejci. Krejci feeds it in front. And that's taken care of by Pietrangelo. And the puck slides to center ice. Krejci back in, but Lucic had not cleared the zone on that far side.
Well, John Kelly, you mentioned T.J. Oshie that will be heading over to Sochi. Boy, oh boy, these Olympians are getting banged up here. But here's Oshie in the offensive zone, comes in on Dougie Hamilton with a hit. In the defensive zone, he blocks a shot right there, a hard one from Matt Bartkowski, and is not returned just yet.
It looked like it hit him right at the top of the laces, maybe, right on the bottom of the ankle. And those really, there's no padding there at all. Those ones really hurt a lot. Right in the meat there.
Yeah.
Under 8 to play here in the second period. The Blues with a 2-0 lead. It's Lucic. Now into Krug. And a pad save by Halak on the doorstep on Krejci. What a save there. What a play by Krug. And now the Bruins get it back. Here's Krejci again in for Ginla. Fires it up high, and a glove save by the Slovakian.
Yarrow's glove was there before that shot was taken. Reminds me a little bit of the last game with David Backes going down the right side, and Robin Lehner had that glove right there. It was in the same spot. Great record against the Bruins in his career, going back to his days as a Montreal Canadian. On the redirection, got his left pad on that one there. Then he gets some help. He's looking around, but he makes a terrific save with that left pad. And then that last one was a wrister by Jarome Iginla. Jarome Iginla had his mind set up the whole way. I'm going high glove, no matter what happens. And Yarrow already had that big mitt there.
And now the Bruins control the face-off. Eriksson a shot. That goes high. As Oshie is now back on the Blues bench. As he walks it off. Long drive, well wide of the goal. And now played by the Blues to center. Hamilton snaps it back in. And settled by Jackman. Blues have been outshot 8-6 in this period. Oh, Jackman popped it up to Kelly. Pass in front for Soderberg. That was blocked. And now Hamilton gets it. And from this perspective, Darren, it looks like the Blues have quit moving their feet here. They're not skating.
Totally agree with you on that. A little bit of quicksand going on right now. You've got to support one another and play in a tight 5-man unit when you run out of gas.
And it's ripped around by Lapierre. Bruins control it. And Dougie Hamilton. That glove down by Shattenkirk. And this is at the line. And now controlled by Reeves. Look out, he put it over the boards at the Bruins bench. And it comes back in play.
Got that just a little too high right there for Ryan Reeves. There's the play by Jackman. You can see that Kelly's already anticipating a reverse. I mean, that's good preparation there by Kelly, knowing that's going to happen. And here's the pressure on Max Lapierre. And Soderberg's all over him, causes a turnover. So you're right, John Kelly, just a little sluggish with the feet. Skate's not moving, but TJ Oshie's back on the ice, and that is great news for the Blues.
You know, Darren, let's not forget, too, this Bruins team does score more than 3 goals a game. They average more than 3 after the Blues, so this is a long way from over as far as the offensive side of it.
And a long shot by Krug goes wide. Here comes Boychuk. He is shadowed by Oshie. And then Bouwmeester got his stick up and arm around Marchand. Penalty called here. And a pad save by Halak on Marchand. And now the Bruins will go back to the power play. And a holding minor on Bouwmeester.
Bouwmeester was called with a slash off a face-off in the first
St. Louis
period.
penalty number 19, 2 minutes for holding.
And he had a long conversation with the other referee about that. But here's the call as the big fella gets his right shoulder with one hand on the stick over top of Marchand. But that's a good save there and a good angle of it as well with the blocker and the pad of Yaroslav Halak.
Bruins get their third power play and drive by Warsofsky. Comes back in front. Where is it? Another the pad of Halak. Cleared by Pietrangelo, not out. And now it's Krug. Krug winds up and another save by Halak. And the Blues have a chance to clear it again. Jackman. And now back of the goal. The Bruins get almost half their power play goals from their defense.
Oh, look at that move.
Little slick move by Pietrangelo, but of course the Bruins are without Chara, who has 8 power play goals of his 13 overall. But they get a lot of goals from the back end.
Boy, is Halak ever tracking the puck right now, though. Wow.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And he sets it up. Jackman again. He waits too long. And Lucic comes in now for Krug. And then Warsofsky down the boards. Krejci sets it up. Here's a Ginlin. Front to Krug, wide open. And he didn't get it up. And Halak made the pad save. I think he partially fanned a shot. Now Krug again. And Ginlin with it. Tight angle for Lucic. Handed on to Krejci. Lucic again. 50 to go in the power play. On the outside to Krug for the rookie Warsofsky. And then back out high. Now Warsofsky again. Trying to find an opening into Lucic. And a shot blocked by Halak and cleared away.
That was a tired decision by Lucic right there. They had plenty of time back to the point and a good break. The Blues blocked that. It doesn't get through to Halak and all the way down, and you get some fresh bodies on the ice.
The Bruins have fanned on a half dozen pucks so far tonight. I don't know if you're thinking that their sticks are breaking, but they're fanning on the shots.
And now Patrice Bergeron. And his feet across for Eriksson. Trying to step around Oshie, blocked by Berglund and chopped away by Oshie. And 5 to go in Bouwmeester's minor.
Yeah, the one great play they made was that delay, waiting for the weak side defenseman to jump in, Krug, and Krug end up fanning on the shot.
Bruins had 5 shots on that power play. Here they come again. It's Hamilton. And a drive and a pad save or an arm save by Halak. The Blues get it. And a pass ahead just behind Steen, or he could have been off to the races. And now it's Stewart. Throws it in for Steen. Nice pass to Backes. And a drive and a save by Rask on that slapper by Backes. So Jaro Halak has been brilliant, stopping all 25 tonight.
Now Yaroslav Halak is sharp. On home ice, he's 12-4-3. His actual save percentage and goals against is better on the road than at home. This is a beauty. He's falling down, though, and he's in a vulnerable spot then, and he knows it. When you're a goalie and you're falling down and you're doing a snow angel, then you're hoping that guy can't raise the puck. But Halak, very, very sharp with his legs. I mean, that's the biggest part that you see in this game. With his legs. He's in full control of his movement from side to side and square to the shooter.
And looking at the replay, I think Krug did miss that shot when he was in cold turkey. As he couldn't get it over the pad of Halak. And a great pass by Shattenkirk into Roy. And a good back check by Smith. He got there just ahead of Yashkin. And now the Bruins on the attack. Bundled to the corner for Marchand. And he pushes with Yashkin, puck 3. And now tipped away by Yashkin for Jaden Schwartz. And a high hoister. And that's taken by the Bruins. Then Warsofsky, who went to a couple of development camps with the Blues, and then was traded for Sabotka. As the Bees come in, and a good check there by Shattenkirk on Marchand. Here are the Blues the other way. It's Schwartz and Stewart. Stewart gets it. Back in front. That shot just wide. And now Stewart up this side. Throws one to the end. Backus trying to hunt it down. And then Stewart again for Leopold. Steen, big windup, broke his stick. The broken stick went farther than the puck. And now Steen has to get a new blade. He does, and now it's picked up by Gregory Campbell.
Good job by the referee to get both parts of the stick and get it off the ice there in the neutral zone.
And Pye tips this one down the ice. No icing with 2:20 left in the second period. Steen and Schwartz have scored for the Blues. Roman Polak. And his dump in, and that's an offside.
Hey, Junior Blues fans, if you're participating in the Junior Blue
Well, the Blues will be well represented in the Olympics, and during the break, Fox Sports Midwest brings you two specials on the Players' Road to Sochi. Darren sits down with Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo as they prepare to represent Team Canada. And the second special, Oshie and Shattenkirk, along with Backus, share their stories and excitement as they head to Sochi for Team USA. Blues Confidential Road to Sochi premieres Wednesday at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. And now we have Boychuk dropping the gloves with Oshie.
Boychuk's going to get an instigator there for coming across the ice to defend his smaller partner, Torrey Krug. Krug just got flattened. That's all that was. That was a good hit there by TJ Oshie. Blues are going to get a power play here, I'm sure. I mean, there's nothing that TJ Oshie can do, even on this, you know, the altercation here with Boychuk. I mean, he's got Boychuk coming right at him. Oshie blocked a shot earlier in this period. He comes over and just drills his man, a smaller player, and hits him hard. Boychuk comes all the way over. That's a good hit right there. Because of the position of Krug, a smaller player anyway at 5'7.5", he's already down and leaning, so he's in a position here there, and Oshie doesn't do anything except that he follows through with his hands. So
I don't know what Oshie would be getting a penalty here for. I mean,
that's what I'm wondering.
This should be maybe a double minor, or at very worst, just a single minor. But Oshie shouldn't be getting anything. He didn't do anything.
Because they weren't calling an original on the Oshie hit.
Well, they had Oshie leave already, so they're giving Oshie something
they
more
gave
than
2 minutes for roughing probably at the very end, or 5 minutes for fighting.
But the Blues are definitely going to get a power play.
Yeah, definitely get the extra 2 anyway.
And that's what it is. The extra 2.
Why did Oshie go off?
Well, I must have given him 4 and 2, Johnny.
Yeah.
A 4 for Boychuk, just 2.
It was 0 for 2 in the power play. And a drive by Steen on goal, and a save by Rask. And the Bruins clear it down the ice.
A good face-off win there right away on the power play, and a shot quickly. Inside 5 seconds there for Steen.
Steen blasted in. So Oshie gets a single minor, and the Bruins player gets a double minor. Again, Oshie didn't really have to go off. It was 2:01 to go in the period. It doesn't matter. The Blues come in. Now Miller with it off the boards and out, and recovered by Shattenkirk. And he slows the pace. Now for Backus. Gets it by Miller. Bartkowski, the first man back, and he goes up the gut and all the way down the river in on Halak. As we approach the 1-minute mark in the second period. Boy, the Blues would love a goal here.
1 minute.
Hammered around by Shattenkirk. And now Pietrangelo in the final minute here of the second period for Bouwmeester. He comes in, and a shot, and a save there by Rask, who is very square to the shooter.
Not sure where Bouwmeester was aiming for there, whether maybe got away from him, trying to go low between the legs. But Tuukka Rask ends up giving the 5-hole and taking it away right there. Here's the quick play off the face-off win by Backus right to the front of the net. Good save by Rask, and here's the last play. And you see he's waiting, hit it right in the Bruin crest right there.
And
I
off
think
the
he was.
face-off, Kelly has broken his stick. The Bruin forward. See if the Blues can capitalize.
Yeah, he's going to stay on the ice with no twig. It's a long way to go here in the second to go all the way to for his new stick.
Blues have 3 forwards after it in the corner. And now it's taken away by Schwartz. In against Erickson.
Need some support there.
And it comes out high. Kelly didn't have the stick to knock it down. Here's Pietrangelo. Works in a shot. And he hit the glass. And now for Bouwmeester. Down low, Schwartz. Blues get set up again. 15 to go in the period. One Brew without a stick. Oh, and it went over the stick of Berglund, and that's a bad break for the Blues.
Is it ever?
Speaking of breaks, and now Pietrangelo comes back in the dying seconds for Bouwmeester. And he lost it, and that's going to do it. The end of 2 in St. Louis.
Sluggish on the power play. 0 for 4. They went 0 for 7 against Ottawa. But Yaroslav Halak sharp in this one. 24 saves after 40 minutes of play.
Steen and Schwartz have the goals, and the Blues lead by 2 after 2. Pat Paris?
Yes, they do, John Kelly. Thank you very much. Don't forget, coming up momentarily from here in the Bud Light Zone, it'll be the Jack in the Box intermission report. Of course, we'll bring you a Blues player interview with David Backes. Darren Pang will do the honors. Also, Bernie Federka will join me up here, a 4-game summary and all of the action through 40 minutes. And our dirt cheap shot of the game. All that and much more ahead on the Jack in the Box intermission report. Through 2 periods, Blues have a 2-goal lead. Steen and Schwartz. Stay with us.
Steen and Schwartz, the goal scorers, and the St. Louis Blues enjoy a 2-0 lead here at Scott Road. John Kelly and Darren Pang back in the broadcast booth. We were at the skate this morning. Good to see our good friend Jeff Brown around the arena today.
A former Nepean Raider from outside of Ottawa. Of course, one of the really dynamic offensive-minded defensemen. And last year, he took over the Indiana Ice of the USHL. There is Jeff Brown, and he has become a terrific coach. He was great here with the St. Louis Bandits of the North American Junior Hockey League, and you can see there from 89 to 94. Then he went to Vancouver, went to the Stanley Cup Finals, lost in 7 games there. But also former Blue Kelly Chase took the team around inside the locker room, showed them where the guys, where they sit, and give them that dream, keep them motivated to find out this is the big picture, and these are the best in the business. So they watched practice, they got to go on the ice, have an hour-long practice, pretty darn good.
And number 21 could shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck, and he played alongside Claude Julien, the head coach of the Boston Bruins, while they were coming up in the minor league system of the Quebec Nordiques. Fredericton, we call it over at Freddie Beach there, in Fredericton, New Brunswick. That's where you saw Claude Julien, who's a defenseman, and Jeff Brown. So they got to talk to each other again today, and that was enjoyable.
And before that, he was in the Blues organization, played with Bernie's brother for a while.
There you go.
Claude Julien.
Yes, he did in Salt Lake City. But if Jeff Brown would have played, stayed healthy, not had the concussion problems, I think he could have been one of the great all-time defensemen in the league.
Yeah,
he was that good.
He was so good with the puck, wasn't he?
Unbelievable.
And I think too that players, I'm not saying like Jeff, but players, Jeff was such a talented player. And I think now he looks back at it, my conversation with him, like he had more to give. It's funny how your career ends up going away and then you go, man, there was even more there. Well, I tell you what, Bernie, he's given it all in the coaching ranks.
Yeah.
You know what? He's going to be a heck of a coach, and someday he will climb into the NHL.
Yeah, Darren, you know what, though? I think that he could have played for another, 5 or 6 years. He had that much more to give because he was so skilled, it was unbelievable.
As Smith comes in, and that shot fanned on. And the puck at the line and now pushed away by Payarvi.
It was in 1998. He went to the finals again with the Washington Capitals. And that's when he really incurred the most serious of his head injuries and had to retire from then.
Yeah, losing to Detroit in that 4-game sweep. The Blues are 25-0-4 when leading after 2. The Bruins are 5-12 when trailing. As the puck is at the line. In that gray area, as Hitch likes to call it. And the Blues have to be better in that area in this 3rd period. And now Backes comes in. It's Backes, Stewart, and Steen. Against the Gimla, Lucic, and Krejci. As the Gimla cruises down the boards. To the front, tipped away. Good job by Pietrangelo. And here come the Blues the other way. Steen a pass, tipped. Bruins get it. And then McGinley trying to hit Lucic. That goes by him. Nice pass by Pietrangelo. Off a stick and into Bruins territory. And taken by David Warsofsky. Lucic gets a piece of this. And now it's handled by Yashkin. Back for Leopold. He makes the smart play. Now drop back to Pollock. Tipped along by Roy. And the Bruins have to head back. And Dougie Hamilton doesn't move it. Now Roy with it for the Blues. And he is pushed down by Soderberg, and the puck squirts to center and smacked in by Kelly. Halak has to be careful, look out. And he did a nice poke check at the last second away from Soderberg.
Was that an old fake the first one or missed the first one?
I don't think it was a fake. And now it's Leopold. He fakes it. It goes to the far side for Schwartz. Now Soderberg centers it. And now Roman Pollock for Yashkin. And the Blues get the puck out. Remember, the Blues in the last couple of games here, coughing up leads to Nashville and Ottawa. Losing in a shootout to the Sens and, of course, winning in a shootout against Nashville. And now the Bruins. Moved along by Warsofsky. He's run to the ditch by Reeves. And that's flowed into the Bruins zone. And then Brendan Morrow trying to center it. Gordon chops it around for Paille. And here comes the former Sabre, Daniel Paille. In against Jackman. And then Campbell back on the goal. It's in traffic. Knocked away by Jackman. Gordon blocks it. And now Shattenkirk trying to move it along. He kicks the puck ahead. And a good pass now for Morrow. And out of the zone for Reeves, who is shouldered by Thornton. Two big tough guys. Was making a change on the fly. Hamilton now for Bartkowski. And then dumped in deep by Thornton. Halak goes to play it. Look out. And was pressured there, but Marchand couldn't walk it in front, and now it's Berglund to center ice. For Oshie. Nice play off the boards. Here's Payarvi down low on Bergeron. And then Berglund after it. But the Bruins have a good exit here, and now they come to center ice. And a pass picked off by Payarvi. Sends Berglund into the Bruins zone. Drops it off for Oshie. And a wrist shot blocked by Krug, and that goes high into the netting. And now we have Oshie in a headlock here. And he gets Krug down.
Well, as long as Oshie doesn't go down awkwardly, every time he gets in any kind of these confrontations, you automatically think back to that game in Columbus when he tripped up his own ankle. But he's shown some feistiness here. North Dakota going up against Michigan State. There's your CCHA Defenseman of the Year in his final year. And here's why in that second period. You see that Krug in that second period when he got hit, he was actually going down. So he wasn't balanced for it, and it wasn't a shot to the head. It was the fact that he was going down, and then the follow-through ends up getting him high. But he's cut right now. But his brother, Adam Krug, is also an assistant coach with Jeff Brown's Indiana Ice team. So he was on the ice today, and I said, I was expecting you to be a little smaller, like your brother. He said I could eat an apple off his head. How do you like that, John Kelly? But now Torrey Krug is cut up right here, and what an experience for Torrey to get in last year in the playoffs, in the hunt, and then get the kind of ice time that he ended up getting last year.
Yeah, he came up late in the season,
so still eligible for the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year.
And we will get matching minors to Krug and Oshie. And it'll go 4-on-4. The Blues this year, 4-on-4, have scored 7 allowed to the Bruins. They've scored 5 and have not allowed a goal, 4-on-4. And off the face-off, Warsofsky. Run right down by Backes. Now for Steen, wide open, a shot! And that's high off the glass after a great forecheck by Backes.
Now, the Blues have been very, very physical against Warsofsky. They've hit him every opportunity they had because he's not the biggest of guys. He's a good player with the puck, but they've done a great job physically against him.
A former 7th-round draft choice of the Blues in 2008. And a pass over the stick of Pietrangelo. And Marchand trying to duck under Pietrangelo, but he knocked him down, and now Bouwmeester for Jaden Schwartz. Here are the Blues to center. Pietrangelo. Roy up the middle. Instead, they go to Schwartz. Now to Roy in front. And it bounced over his stick. And now the Ottawa native Roy. Look out, Lucic knocked it away. And he's in a race with Pietrangelo. And Lucic barges in and got in too tight. Couldn't get a shot on goal.
You got to love that about Milan Lucic, huh? How powerful he is.
He's not stopping.
Oh, no, he's not
way
stopping.
will he stop.
Not a chance.
He'll go through you, around you, under you, over you, whatever. And now Shattenkirk for the Blues. Look out. He almost waited too long.
Not normally under you. The through you part.
And now it's Roy in. And his shot is off a Bruins stick. And that goes too high.
Well, between Milan Lucic and David Backes, these are two big bodies that can get around the ice. So David Backes knocks down Warsofsky and then sets up Steen with that shot. And here comes Lucic, going to protect the puck, drive hard, and he nearly gets it on the forehand. There's no way to stop him unless you have such quick hands that you go stick on puck, quickly poke it away from him. But it's tough with the reach and the protecting of the puck that he can utilize.
And he could have been a teammate of Pietrangelo on the Canadian Olympic team. He was in the mix.
I wouldn't have argued if he was on that team.
Now Soderberg for Hamilton. To the net, too high for Eriksson. And then tip back of the goal. Blues break it up. But now Hamilton gets it again. 20 to go in the 4-on-4. What a play. Oh, Pollock almost knocked it away, but it stays in. Look out, Hamilton. And a great glove save by Halak on Hamilton.
Oh, just when it looked like the Blues were getting out of the zone and escaping, Roman Pollock thinks it's out. Dougie Hamilton keeps it in. And then a nice little give and go by the Bruins. The puck will go a lot quicker than the players will. And that give and go is so underrated. Here's the play behind. Hamilton, right here, thinks he's got it. He's going to keep it in. And then it gets knocked away. Roman Pollock thinks he's going to knock it out, but Hamilton keeps it away. And there's the give and go that he has right there. And a good shot, better saved by Jaro Halak.
And that's the gray area we talked about earlier.
That would be. That's that 5 to 8 foot buffer just inside your own zone. Inside and outside the blue line, both blue lines.
And Halak was screened a little bit, and there's a great reaction save, too, with that big mid of his.
And the Blues win the faceoff. 10 to go in the 4-on-4. 14-14 left here, third period. Now Backes comes in. And his backhander and a glove save by Rask. And we get a stoppage. Well, join us in celebrating the 10 Blues players competing in the Olympics by purchasing a Sochi 10-game pack. Choose 10 games that fit your schedule and also receive playoff ticket purchasing priority. Call us now at 622-BLUE.
That is fresh off the shelf right there. The USA sweater that they're going to wear in the Olympic Games. Looking forward to it. Spectating.
I'll tell you, 4 or 5 countries, maybe 6 could come away with gold. A very strong field.
No question about it. Saw that, in 98. The Czechs were good, but whenever you've got a goalie like, Hasek that can win a game 1-0, you're in pretty good shape.
And now it's Lucic. Drops it off, but Oshie steps in front of the Bruin player, and here he comes. Oshie with a couple of minors in the game. And now it is Iginla. Off a stick toward the goal. Recovered by Boychuk. And now for Crew. On to center ice, Lucic. 3 Blues are back. Lucic trying to make a play. Now a shot tipped by Iginla wide. What a play by the veteran Iginla. As he tipped that out of midair. And now Morrow off the boards and out. Here's Lapierre. Getting back for Boston is Matt Bartkowski. And now on the far side, it's Morrow pitting Hamilton. Reeves on the far side as well. And it goes to the boards. And now Bartkowski trying to skate away from Reeves. Not a lot of room in this third period. The shots are 1-1. Shattenkirk steps up. He goes around Bartkowski. To the net, a shot and a save there by Rask as he was out and makes a good save on Shattenkirk's wrister. Jaroslav Halak, another big save to keep the Blues ahead by 2.
for a Bommarito Automotive Sports Update. Saturday, the Blues host the Jets. Tonight, Winnipeg at Washington. Jets had won 8 of 10. They had a 2-1 lead in the third. The Caps tie it, though, and then Alexander Ovechkin will record his league-leading 40th goal of the season, and that turns out to be the game winner. Little backhander there. 4-2 Capitals, the final. John, Darren, Bernie, back to you.
In fact, don't forget, as you know, that game on Saturday is at 1 o'clock. We're on the air at 12:30 with the pregame show on Fox Sports Midwest.
Well, it'd be good to see my old TSN panel mate, Paul Maurice, as he has taken over for Winnipeg and has done a phenomenal job.
Taking over from Claude Llewellyn. As the Blues control the faceoff, Polak funnels one to the corner. Here's Schwartz. In there against Warsofsky. Bouncing puck, and now Schwartz gets it back to the goal. Played up the left wing side. Roman Polak tipped it, couldn't hold it in. And now to his partner, Leopold. Nashkin now for Roy. And 5 Bruins are back. Roy the shot. A good play there by Roy. With a lot of congestion in front and a save by Rask.
Yeah, very smart play by Roy, knowing everybody's driving hard to the net. You can't turn the puck over there, and he does it. Central Division standings. Blackhawks with 35 wins, 2 fewer than the Blues. See the games played, the key. Tonight makes 56 for the Blues, 59 for Chicago, and only 2 points behind.
Colorado losing tonight, too.
Yeah, with anticipation that this could be a W here tonight.
You can never assume anything in sports or life.
No, we can't.
You're right about it. Marchand comes in for Hamilton. Hamilton a pass. And then Bartkowski to the net. And that may have been tipped by Bergeron and a save by Halak.
Yep, a little low redirection there in front. Pad sealed down along the ice. Made that look easy.
And then Marchand again. He is bobbing from behind by Bouwmeester at the line of shot. And that drive by Hamilton was off the mark. Now Pietrangelo for Payarvi. And then walked along by Berglund. And Berglund on his off wing. And a backhander and a hard backhander and a save by Rask. And the Bruins knocking off the pad of Rask and back to center ice. As the Blues make a change on the fly. 11:30 left, third period.
And positioning, obviously, the key with that third man high. The Blues have done an excellent job all game long of it.
And then a shot by Soderberg blocked from the angle. Kelly trying to catch Halak sleeping. At the line. Boychuk a drive. Tipped on goal. And a save again by Halak.
This line has been very good. In fact, Soderberg has been really, really good. He's had a number of good scoring chances tonight. Wow.
And a tip puck, too. Johnny Boychuk's got a heavy, heavy shot. Look at the whip he's got on that twig. It gets deflected up front, up high. That was by David Backes. And then right in the chest of Halak, who's right on top of his crease, taking away as much of the angle as possible, and then smothering up the rebound. You're right about Soderberg. He has been awfully good in this game. And I think that Kelly is one of the more underrated players in the entire league.
Are you surprised?
We got it.
Here's Soderberg off the face-off.
You're a beauty.
In front. Well, what would you say if there was a guy like Pang on the ice? Here's Krug, backdoor feed. You'd be all over that. You're all over the Ottawa guys all the time. Here comes Jackman to center ice. And it's covered by Rask, and we get no further play.
I'd say easier to spell than Nieuwendyk. 4 easy letters. Rask. No, you're right about that, John. You're right about that.
Kelly had a broken leg earlier this year.
Yes, he did. A lot of that going around. Good to see Vladdy Sobotka today. Walking around. Got a little brace going on that left leg of his.
And a drive by Bouwmeester blocked.
Oh, the linesman went down hard again. Oh, that's got to hurt.
That's the other linesman this time. Now the Bruins with their shot. They score! David Krejci through a screen, and it's 2-1.
Traffic in front. It's what David Backes was talking about at the end of 2 periods for the Blues against Tuukka Rask. There's no way that any goaltender is going to be able to see this one here. Cutting across there. And kind of a double reverse, wasn't it? Because Iginla's going one way, drops off the right-hander. Lucic is in front of the net. That is one towering screen that they have with Milan Lucic.
Did that hit the Lucic in the back of the pants and go in, or did it go straight in? I couldn't tell.
I think it fluttered off the blade
Okay.
of Krejci. Well, take another closer look on it, but this come on the heels of the linesman Don Henderson just going down hard on the faceoff.
So the Blues lead is 1. The goal at 9:16, and now the Blues are called for icing. Krejci let it go. I'm not sure if it hit the back of Lucic or not. I didn't think so, but you never know.
Well, we'll take a look from the overhead angle. No, that looks like that stays straight through. And it's amazing that it even got through. And it's amazing that it didn't hit a little bit of Lucic. From that angle, it didn't appear as if it did.
This line of Krejci, Lucic, and Iginla, 26 points in their previous 6 games. For the face-off. Here comes Stewart. And Krejci does get the goal. His 13th of the year. Now it's Thornton after it. He is canceled by Pollock. And now moved along by Steen. Tipped out by Leopold. So Krejci gets the goal from Jarome Iginla and Milan Lucic. The goal at 9:16. And Pollock, a good hit on Campbell. Blues have possession. Leopold ahead now for Yashkin. Then through center ice. Slowed up there by Campbell.
Now this is where the Blues can't get tentative here. You know, you let the ghost ride. Get the puck in deep and keep doing the little things well.
And now Schwartz for Yashkin. Ducks under a check and tried the wraparound. That was blocked. And the Bruins punch it away. Shattenkirk in from the point. Now for Schwartz. And get some help there from Yashkin. He is pushed by Warsofsky. And Yashkin just trying to pry it free. He does. Now Shattenkirk. No shot is there and sent back of the goal to Yashkin. In front for Lapierre. And now Lapierre gets it. And a shot. That was well wide. And comes around now for Riley Smith. And he put that one right into the midsection of Jackman. But now it goes deeper. And then Shattenkirk ties up Bergeron. Look out here. Jackman lost it. In front, a shot on goal by Marchand. And a save by Halak. As the Bruins have picked up the forechecking game. And they have a goal. Krejci is 13th at 9:16.
There's Jaden Schwartz of the St. Louis Blues, a timely TV timeout because the Boston Bruins have got their forecheck going right now. The 2 men in, they're hunting down pucks, and the Blues can't show any signs of being on their heels because a team like the Boston Bruins, they will sniff that out. Brad Marchand stripping the puck from the veteran defenseman Barrett Jackman behind net, gets a real good scoring chance there.
And the Bruins control the faceoff. Here is Riley Smith back to the line to Boychuk. And now to Krug, his shot. Oh, they have gone off Bouwmeester's stick just wide.
And Bergeron.
And now it's Smith for Krug. The Boychuk winds up a hard drive. Save, rebound, they score! Marchand into the top corner. And it's 2-2.
You believe that angle that he just put that under the bar and in on? Left-hand shot from there. A big, huge carom off the boards. And a wicked shot by Boychuk off the heel of the stick of Pietrangelo, changed the angle, went off the boards, right to Brad Marchand, and he just fires this. Look at this. Look at the angle. And off the stick, maybe, of Pietrangelo. How does that go in?
It's almost literally impossible from where he was. There was absolutely no room there except for the width of a puck. Unbelievable.
He's been good in this game. He was the one that strips the puck from Jackman, gets the play going, and the Boston Bruins, they're very much back in this hockey game and with momentum.
And here they come again. Krejci for Lucic. And it bounced on him. 2 goals in 2:08. And now Bartkowski with it. For Lucic to the front. Oh, Krejci is in the area. And now we got a whistle and maybe a stick coming up on Krejci. I believe a high stick against the Blues.
Roman Pollock's going to go off. I think it is. Anyway, I'm a little confused, but I think it's Roman Pollock. His stick up there on the follow-through, maybe? Yep. Lifts the stick there of Krejci. And now, on their heels, after that second goal, It was almost another tap in as Lucic went hard to the post.
And the Bruins on the power play in a 2-2 game. Here is Smith for Hamilton. Fakes it. And then a one-timer tipped in front. Oh, Bergeron and his stick lifted. And he had a wide open side.
What a defensive play by Alexander Steen. Otherwise, it's a 3-2 Bruins game.
Bruins 0 for 3 tonight. Here's Schwartz. And he smacks it back of the Boston goal. The Bruins with 2 goals in 208 rather. Ottawa scored 3 goals in 2:35 on Tuesday. And now Smith. All the way around Bouwmeester trying to clear it. Gets it again. And now played by Lapierre, and it goes by Smith on the left point. Blues have now been outscored 7-2 in the third period of the last 3 games. Here comes Krug the other way for Lucic. Working on Shattenkirk, drops it back. Now Krug all the way across the line. For Warsofsky, back to Krug to Krejci. And they get set up. Now for Warsofsky again. 50 to go in the power play. And his pass blocked by Berglund. And a good play. And he gets it off the boards and down the ice.
Good read there by the big Swede. Patrick Berglund just got his stick on that one. Otherwise, you're running around again with control on the twig of the Boston Bruins.
And now the Bruins controlling it in their own zone. 30 to go in Pollock's minor.
Talk about little guys who are dumpster on the blue line for the Bruins on Warsofsky and Krug. But man, they've got some good hockey sense up back there.
And now Krejci after it. In against 2 Blues, Bouwmeester and Backes. And now it comes to Lucic, drops it off. Warsofsky a shot. That's tipped wide. Comes around to Steen. And he goes high with it. That's knocked down by the Bruins. But now Bouwmeester, and he doesn't get a lot on it, but just enough, and it goes down the ice.
And the Bruins doing all this with basically David Warsofsky replacing Zdeno Chara. They got to feel pretty good about themselves climbing back in this game on the road.
No shot for Boston on that power play. Lob to center ice. Glove down by Shattenkirk with 5:55 to play. It's 2-2. And now Miller a pass. Too far from Thornton. And Jackman turning. That's blocked by Paille. And he pushes it right back in the blue zone. And then Kevin Shattenkirk stops on a dime. His pass blocked. And then he goes tumbling down with Thornton. Paille comes around. And he gets it back on the goal. Now for Gregory Campbell. On the wall. Broken up there by Reeves. And the Bruins recover. Miller with it. Tip to Paille. Now in for Campbell. And a shot blocked by Jackman. And it's under his leg, and it's knocked away by Campbell, but now knocked away by the Blues' Derek Roy to center ice. And then punch back in. Blues are trying to make a change here. Jackman to center for Roy. In with Yashkin. Here's Roy going wide to Yashkin in front. And both he and Payarvi missed it. And the Bruins 3-on-2 the other way. It's Smith to the front. And that pass came on goal and a save by Halak. And now picked up by Roy off the glass. Knocked down, then a shot. Blocker saved by Halak. And the puck at the line, but kept in by the Bruins' Boychuk. A frantic pace at this point. Now Smith. And that comes in front.
Kept in again.
Can't get it out. Now it does come to center ice as Yashkin barely got it out. And now we have Leopold after Marchand. And all of this with 4:35 left in a 2-2 game.
Time now for tonight's Check Replay, brought to you by BMO Harris Bank. And there's always a whole bunch. It's the Bruins and the Blues. It's not Bobby Orr against Glenn Hall.
In the first meeting, there were 63 combined hits.
And that's a lot of hits.
4:35 left. It's tied at 2. Steen and Schwartz for the Blues. Krejci and Marchand for the Bruins. That's dumped in. Leopold kicks it. And now for Pollock. Trying to find it. Bruins get it in front. And a drive by Soderberg. And a save. And now it's Berglund. And he slides one up the middle to the Bruin line. And this goes back in the zone. Pollock around for Leopold. And then Schwartz takes a hit. Oshie grabs it. And up the middle now, poked along by Berglund. And big Berglund in on Chris Kelly. Oshie helps out. Berglund with it. In front. Rebound. Pietrangelo, shot. And that goes just wide. And now back for Bouwmeester. All the way around the boards. For Steen. Thought about going in front, and now he lost it. And Soderberg will just chip one high. That's gloved down by Pietrangelo.
Good play and good try by Patrick Berglund on the stick side. Most goalies do go paddle down like that. He just bumped it right off the paddle of the stick, the shaft of the stick down below, and Tuukka bunted it right out in front for a good rebound.
And now the Bruins loop. He was slowed up by Backus, and Chris Stewart comes in. Here's Stewart to the line to Pietrangelo, bouncy shot, rebound, and Steen put it just wide on a tricky one, and a good save by Rask. And now Bouwmeester. And around for Steen. Uses his body very well on Krug. And then Krug comes back on Steen. The stick came really high and got away with it. And the puck goes down the ice, and this will be an ice. Now they're going to say no, because Halak came out of the net, I believe. And Pietrangelo on the boards. Can't get it. Bouwmeester does. And that's tipped away by Yashkin. And from center, blasted back in by Bartkowski. With 2:40 left. And tied at 2. Now Pietrangelo off a Bruins stick. That sails high. It's Payarvi in after it. Tied up with Bartkowski. And it's still in the skates of Bartkowski. Bergeron there along with Roy. And time is just ticking down here. Blues finally get it off the wall. And now it's worked to center by Smith. But played back in by Shattenkirk. And then just drilled around by Bartkowski. Here comes Smith across the red line. And that goes deep. Halak puts it on the glass. Now for Jackman. For Schwartz. That pass blocked. Boy, the Bruins have come with a heavy forecheck here in the third. And the Blues have been troubled by it. And it's still in the zone. Schwartz trying to tip it. Krug a drive. Walker save Halak. Now in front. Soderberg knocked down by Jackman to the deep slot. Now back for Krug. And he funnels one back to the corner. And Soderberg on the cycle now for Kelly. Back of the goal for Louis Eriksson. Eriksson tons of time in front. A shot. And that went high by Boychuk.
Blocked by Shattenkirk right in the shoulder.
That comes around to Schwartz. Under some pressure again. Jackman helps out. At the line, Krug fanned on it. That's a break for the Blues. And then drilled in by Boychuk with a minute to go in the third period. And Jackman, nice pass to center ice for Berglund. And he goes for a 360 skate at his own line. Now for Bouwmeester. And the Blues send the Backus line back on the ice. And here comes Pietrangelo. Little soft backhand flip. Steen, the first man there for Stewart. Sends it around now for Backus to Bouwmeester. Banks shot off the wall. Now Stewart with it. Tried to reverse it. And then Steen had it knocked away. With 25 to go. And then Backus. And he is stood up in the corner. Stewart there to support it. And the Bruins get it back. And David Krejci. Krejci off the boards. And now on to center ice for Lucic. And then into Krejci. He waits to the net, and a good pad save there by Halak, and then Backus puts it off the glass, and back to center ice.
A good defensive position there by David Backus.
And this is over. And for the third straight home game, we are going to overtime.
Yep, did so against the Nashville Predators. Tarasenko tied it at 7:45. And then, of course, in the last game against Ottawa.
And stay with us. Coming up next on Missouri Lottery Blues Live. The Blues' third period woes continue. Oshie's hot night. And we'll have complete team reaction on Missouri Lottery Blues Live.
Well, give the Boston Bruins a lot of credit here in the third period. They came at the Blues defense in waves. The Blues at times looked a little bit tentative, maybe lacking a little bit of confidence based on the last couple of comebacks that other teams have had here, Nashville and Ottawa. But Marchand Krejci scores his 13th at 9:16, and 2:08 later, Marchand scores on that ridiculously brutal angle, and how he put that in was amazing. But you see the record against Boston on home ice, 1-3-0 since 05-06, and yet on the road, it's been a domination for the Blues, going 4-0-0.
And Panger, going back further, 8 of the last 13 games between these clubs have gone to overtime, and the Blues have won all 8 of those.
Well, right now, if you believe in momentum, then the Boston Bruins have their foot on the pedal. And it's really going to be up to the Blues to settle things down. But I think the biggest key, you can say that all you want, but Boston has gotten in on the Blues defense. And so they're getting their first man in on the puck. They're getting their second man in. Now it changed a little bit because it's 4-on-4 and not a 5-on-5 situation in the offensive zone.
How about Max Pacioretty tonight of the Canadiens? Not only did he have a hat trick, but he also missed on 2 penalty shots in the game. That's the first time that's ever happened in the NHL.
Missed on 2 and still had 3 goals.
Right.
So I guess when Team USA goes to calling on the shootout, they're not going to pick Max in Sochi.
Not based on tonight's results. Now Marchand comes in for Boston. Flips one in to Bergeron. He got behind Steen. Now Steen hacks him. Gets it free, and now Backus away 3-on-2. Backus, Steen, and Bouwmeester. Steen, the trailer, gets it. A shot. And that was blocked at the Bruin defense.
Now the Bruins got 3 forwards on, too. Only 1 defenseman. Boychuk's the only defenseman on.
Now Steen knocks Smith off the puck.
That's an interesting strategy.
And John mentioned something earlier in the game. Boston's 5-0 when they're playing 4-on-4 this year. They've not been scored on 4-on-4, so that's another interesting stat.
But the Blues pretty good at 7-2. Here comes Eriksson in. Can't slide it through the skates of Shattenkirk. Soderberg, a pass back, but no one was on the right point.
So 3 forwards here. Dougie Hamilton, the lone defenseman on the ice.
Now on to Soderberg. Then he comes in on Shattenkirk. And then delays, then a shot. And that goes wide. Puck knocked away by Oshie. And then Berglund. Oh, he lost it to Eriksson. And the longtime star drops it back. And now Lucic with it for the Boston Bruins. Blues are changing. Here comes Lucic in. And he'll head back to the cage. Lucic to the line for Ginla. And a drive got through, and a save by Halak. And a very interesting strategy here from Julien, using 3 forwards in overtime.
Well, the defensemen that they have here all have a great deal of mobility. Warsofsky, Hamilton, Krug, Bartkowski. Boychuk's got the heavy shot and can defend. And here's a real good play coming up the ice, although it goes off the leg of Boychuk. See, David Backus wants to play it to the shooter, Alexander Steen. So he plays it to Steen, and then he just goes forward to the net. If that puck gets through and there's any rebound, David Backus is right there. Backus played a heck of a game here tonight against Boston. Why wouldn't he? Big bad Boston Bruins, and he's big bad David Backus.
Let's go down to Bernie.
Well, what's interesting, guys, is that there's really a calm on really both benches. I'm kind of watching the benches here. The Boston Bruins certainly have a little of the momentum right now, but there's really no panic, especially on this timeout. Everybody got together. Everybody seems to be totally upbeat here. So, I mean, I think this is really an important win here for the Blues. So they got to find a way to try to win this game, whether it be now in the overtime or in the shootout.
And again, the Bruins send out 3 forwards. Ginla, Krejci, and Lucic. With Krug, the only natural defenseman. Blues win the faceoff. Pietrangelo now for Bouwmeester. Steen is up front with Backus. Steen had to go off the back of his leg. But then Bouwmeester lost it. Look out, Krejci, backdoor. Oh, Pietrangelo saved a goal. Ginla had a wide open net, and he saved a goal. And then Steen rifles it in. Rask can't play it here in the corner. Steen in front. Backus a shot, and that's turned away by the Finnish goaltender. And the Bruins to center ice. And now Pietrangelo.
Oh, nice play. Now he can jump
the middle. Oh, Steen just had it roll off his stick. Or he would have been one-on-one against Bartkowski.
Well, Leopold in the last game saves a goal. That's a sure goal right there by Iginla, but Pietrangelo robs him.
And now it's centered, but Derek Roy kicks it away. Here come the Blues on the attack. And Schwartz to the middle now for Leopold. Bouncing puck. Bruins get it. Long stretch pass to Marchand. And he's in on Pollock. And then Marchand trying to play it in front. And a shot partially blocked off the stick of Bergeron. Now to Marchand again. And out of the corner. 2:15 left in OT. And then Bergeron trying to make a play. Out high to Boychuk, a drive. And a save by Halak. And the rebound back to the corner. And then Boychuk again. Winds up. And a glove save by Halak through a screen.
Good tracking of that high, hard one. And Halak puts his glove over his eyes and nails her shut. Boychuk shot here. Just gets away from him. And no traffic in front. Smith is off to the side. Here's Pietrangelo. Sure goal. Off the skate. Iginla's got a wide open net. Not to be. Pietrangelo robs him with that quick stick and a great read.
The two-time Olympic gold medalist Jerome Iginla thought he had the winner.
The guy that
59 left.
Set up Sidney Crosby for the game-winning gold medal goal.
And off the draw, Jackman and Eriksson in a duel behind the goal. Jackman gets it. Headmans to Oshie. Oshie spins by one Bruin and then dumps it in. He's up front with Berglund. And now the Bruins with it back on the goal. Oshie knocked it away. Trying to jam it in. He scores! He did it!
Oshie makes a great move in the neutral zone. He's the last man back, but he has good hands. Really good hands. And confidently goes to his backhand, gets it in deep. And this is a much-needed one for the Blues. Much needed. Leading 2-0. Had it squandered to 2-2. And they win it in overtime. Oshie is on the spot. Blocks the Soderberg shot. Goes around the net. And he banks it off the side of the body. Leopold did it the other night against Robin Leonard. T.J. Oshie. He blocked a shot in this game. He got in a little bit of a scuffle with Boychuk after he drilled Torrey Krug. He had another scuffle with Torrey Krug. And now T.J. Oshie ends up scoring the game-winning goal.